That's right. That's how Charleston White be talking. Listen, parents are mad because they don't want to teach critical race theory in school. So, if they wasn't teaching it before, don't put your child in that school. And now you as a parent have the responsibility of teaching your child black history. Because most black history books in school was written by white people anyway. So what's the difference? And public schools are not broken. They do what they were designed to do. They were designed to marginally educate black children to go work for white people. It's real simple. Why you guys don't get it? During slavery in America, 99% of black people worked for white people. Today, 2022, 98% of black people work for white people. All public school teachers had to go out there and get a job working for white people. Most black people only control half of 1% of the nation's wealth. Half of 1%. We only control half of 1%. That's why I said you go all over America, like Claude Anderson was saying, and he said you can't find 3 black people that own a skyscraper. If your child is not learning critical race theory in public school, too bad. Don't put them in public school, or put them in public school and teach them critical race theory when they get home. That's how most black people learn it anyway. And the shit they teach you in school is watered down. Like I said in one of my poems, they only teach you his side of the story, his story, history. It's white history. They only tell you one side of the story. And they tell you that black people were slaves, then they was free. And that's it. They don't tell you about how black people was free and they had nowhere to go. They had no home, no land, no food, no clothes, no friends. They had nowhere to go. So they had nothing to do but turn around and go right back to where they came from. That's why it's disingenuine, and hypocritical to tell black people that you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. They didn't have shit. You have 400 years of planned ignorance. Black people back here, everybody else right here. Now you're saying we should all be treated equal. That means you want the status quo to remain. Black people down here and up here. And then people always say, well, how immigrants go to America and they can make it? Because they get incentives. Plus, the word immigrant implies choice. They came here. They get incentives. They don't just come here with nothing. Who pays for the ride to get here? Who shows them how to find a place to live and where to go get food stamps to eat and sleep and help build something? They got people here that teach them that. They don't just come here with nothing. Y'all make it seem like they just come here and get off the boat or off the plane and bam, they just know everything. They got people that help them. They get help. But back to what I was saying, and black people don't get help because when people look at it, the main thing, the whole reason they do that, they use the term people of color. And that's why it's jaded and ambiguous to call black people people of color. Because that means everybody could come in here and benefit off of what was supposed to be set aside for black people. People of color, colored people, poor people, minority, ethnic, urban. These are all terms that they use, jaded and ambiguous terms that are used to describe black people. But it also means everybody else because all people got color. So that doesn't mean everybody could jump in on the bandwagon. So if you got programs set aside to help black people, it's not specific. Jim Crow, segregation, slavery, all that was very specific. It was very specific. It had nothing to do with people of color. Black people was purposely handicapped. Now you got everybody else coming in here saying they people of color and they getting a free ride. And then black people don't know it. You let them get a free ride by using that term people of color. Black people was slavery was very specific. Jim Crow, segregation, and 400 years of planned ignorance was very specific. It was very specific. And now it's up to you to teach your children. Like there's an old African proverb that says, it's not my job to tell you how great your father was. You got to teach your children yourself because Mr. Charlie ain't going to do it. He going to teach them lies. That's what you've been learning in school now is lies. That's why when a black person learns the truth and they speak about the truth, they look crazy. Because they're saying stuff that you never heard of. It's real simple, man. You got to teach your children yourself. And don't be just teaching them about Harriet Tubman and Benjamin Franklin. I mean, Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. That's the only people you talk about. But Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, and Martin Luther King. You got to teach them yourself. As public schools were designed to marginally educate black children so they can go out there and work for white people. Real simple. Teach them, man. You got to teach them. I remember how I learned. What I learned is I remember one day I was going to IS-10 and we had a substitute teacher. I forgot who my permanent teacher was, but we had a substitute teacher and he came in and blew our mind away. We was laughing at him and everything. He was telling us about King Tut and how King Tut got thick lips. He was like, look at the statue. The nose was shot off because the nose was thick. Look at the lips. Look how thick the lips are. And we was laughing, and I went home and thought about it, but he was right. And ever since then, that like sparked me to learn more about my history. And then people say it's teaching hate. Is not teaching hate. We learned about critical race theory, and the reason they don't want you to learn is because they want you to remain dumb. And like I always said, lying is more provocative than hate. Lying is more provocative than hate. So if my teacher teaches me lies, what does that mean about the teacher? What does that mean about the Board of Education? What does that mean about the teacher? What does that mean about the public school system? And real quick, about the public school system, it's called the prison pipeline because everything in school looked just like prison. School looked just like prison. You got the armed security guards. You got to go through a medical detector. You got the big-ass brick walls and Department of New York sanitation trucks. All that shit is up there in the prison. Prison and school look just alike. Don't stop having children or don't put them in that school. Teach them at home. It's real simple.